Most men lose the connection before a woman even realizes she's drawn to them. Picture this. You meet someone who catches your attention. Maybe it's a coworker. Maybe it's a friend of a friend. The spark is there until you push too fast, too soon. Suddenly, she's polite, distant, and you're left replaying everything, wondering where it went wrong. You thought the key was impressing her with words, with gestures, maybe even with constant attention, but instead of pulling her in, you pushed her away. Here's the part most men never understand. Attraction doesn't grow in the big, obvious moments. It thrives in the spaces between, in the silences, in the subtle hints, in the way you stir her curiosity without giving her the full picture. Women connect through details, through what's left unsaid, through feelings they build in their own minds. That's where real desire takes root. And in today's video, I'll reveal the single most effective shift you can make, one that awakens that hidden part of her mind, making her think about you when you're not even there. This isn't about using cheesy lines or playing manipulative games. It's about controlling the pace, mastering tension, and letting her move toward you because she wants to, not because you forced it. When you get this right, everything changes. Before we dive in, I want to hear from you. Have you ever felt that spark fade too soon? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button if you're ready to learn, and subscribe so you never miss the strategies that set you apart. Let's begin. Number 1, master the slow burn that keeps her hooked. There's a reason the best novels don't give away the plot in the first chapter. They build tension, drop hints, and make you turn the page because you have to know what happens next. Attraction, especially with women, works exactly the same way. The mistake most men make is either rushing toward the finish line or never building any tension at all. When you move too fast, you smother the spark before it ever has a chance to catch. Let me give you a picture. Michael, Sushaba, separated for a year, meets Hannah, Sushisu, at an art gallery opening. The connection is instant. She laughs at his dry humor, brushes his shoulder as she talks. In the past, Michael would have flooded her with messages the next day, locked in another date immediately, and maybe tossed in a compliment that was too heavy, too soon. To him, that pace felt like enthusiasm. To her, it felt like turning on bright stadium lights. In the middle of a candlelit room, the mood evaporates. This time, he does it differently. He keeps the conversation light, leaves while the energy is high, and when he texts the next day, it's short, intriguing, and doesn't demand a reply. He's not ghosting her, he's pacing the interaction. That night, Hannah lies in bed, replaying moments from their conversation, wondering if he's thinking about her too. That's the slow burn in action. You're not depriving the fire, you're feeding it just enough to grow. You give her something to imagine, then step back so her mind does the rest. Desire lives here in well-timed sparks, not floods of attention. This isn't immature hard to get. It's self-control, a core Stoic principle. You set the tempo instead of letting nerves or excitement take control. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. The slow burn is that strength in motion, holding her attention without overwhelming her senses. When you're with her, Be fully present. Hold her gaze. Let silences breathe instead of rushing to fill them. When you part, resist the urge to keep chatting endlessly over text. That space is where curiosity grows. Think from her side instead of waking up to a wall of notifications. She wonders if she'll hear from you today. That wondering is powerful. When you set the pace, you're not needy, you're confident. That quiet self-assurance is magnetic. So, drop a comment and claim it. I control the pace. If this makes sense, stay with me. The next step will give you an advantage most men never discover. Number 2, turn small talk into subtle seduction. Most men treat small talk like an obstacle to rush past. A narrow hallway they sprint through to reach what they think is the real conversation. They keep it shallow, skip the nuance, and then wonder why there's no spark. But here's the truth: when used well, small talk can be one of the most powerful tools you have for building attraction. Not because of the literal words you speak, but because of the feeling you create. The shift starts when you stop seeing small talk as filler and start seeing it as a slow drip of connection. You're not delivering facts, you're delivering emotion. And the most potent emotion you can evoke is a mix of curiosity and the unspoken. That's the space where subtle seduction thrives. This is where a Stoic mindset gives you an advantage. Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." When you truly listen, you catch things. Most men miss a change in her tone on certain subjects. A smile that lingers when she talks about a memory, or a topic she keeps circling back to. Instead of steering the talk back to yourself, you follow the path she's opening. You respond in a way that leaves the door slightly ajar for her imagination. For example, if she mentions a trip she loved, most men jump in with their own travel story. Instead, you might pause, smile, and ask, "What was it about that place that stays with you?" That question doesn't just fill space, it invites her to relive something pleasurable with you as the guide. Subtle seduction through small talk also relies on pacing. You don't drop all your charm at once. You let moments breathe. You give her space to speak, to think, to wonder what's going on in your mind. A well-timed pause can stir more curiosity than any witty one-liner. When you shift from trying to impress to creating intrigue, your entire energy changes. You stop chasing approval and start owning the moment. In a world addicted to speed, patience becomes magnetic. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Carry calm, curiosity, and self-control in your thoughts, and they'll show in the way you speak and listen. That's what makes her want more, not a performance, but your presence. So stop rushing through the small part of small talk. Slow down, listen deeply, speak with purpose, and let curiosity pull you both forward. Drop a comment and claim it. I speak with impact. If this resonates, stay tuned. The next step will take your connection to a level she won't even see coming. Number 3, build desire through emotional curiosity. Most men assume desire is born from physical moments: a glance, a certain touch, the right opportunity. But for many women, lasting desire begins in the mind. And the fastest route into her mind is through emotional curiosity. This isn't about grilling her with question after question. It's about genuinely wanting to understand what shapes her at her core. and then allowing that understanding to form a connection she keeps replaying. Let's make it real. Daniel, Wusha, meets Claire, Sishawu, at a mutual friend's weekend cookout. She carries a calm energy with a spark in her eyes. They start with easy conversation about the food, the weather, the people around them. But Daniel doesn't stay on the surface. He shifts with one thoughtful question. What's something you've done that made you feel completely alive? Claire pauses, not used to hearing something that deep. She shares about a solo trip to Patagonia years ago, hiking remote trails, camping under endless stars, feeling the quiet pulse of nature. As she speaks, her expression transforms, softer voice, brighter eyes. Daniel doesn't cut in. He lets her paint the moment. Here's the magic. He isn't just hearing facts. He's tapping into an emotional memory that made her feel free, powerful, and alive. Now, those feelings begin to connect to him. Emotional curiosity is more than asking deeper questions. It's giving her the space to open up without fear of judgment. It's showing interest in the parts of her most people overlook. And when you reach those deeper layers, you create an intimacy far stronger than any early physical move. From a Stoic perspective, this reflects sympathia, the idea that we're interconnected. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "We were born to work together like feet, hands, and eyes." By being sincerely curious about her inner world, you're not trying to control her, you're working alongside her, inviting her to share. The subtlety is knowing balance. Don't turn every interaction into a therapy session. Mix curiosity with lightness. Ask about her proudest moments, but also about the smell of a place she loves, the taste of a dish that sparks a memory, or a song that always makes her stop and listen. These sensory details pull her into rich emotional territory with you as the guide. Days later, she remembers that conversation, not because it was long, but because it made her feel seen. And feeling seen is addictive. Drop a comment and claim it. I see deeper. Once you combine this emotional pull with the right presence, you'll create a connection she can't help but think about. Number 4. Hint at the forbidden without crossing the line. One of the most magnetic forces in human interaction is the allure of what's just out of reach. It's why banned books suddenly become bestsellers. It's why a closed door makes people itch to know what's behind it. In attraction, the same principle applies. When you hint at something slightly beyond the boundary, curiosity turns into desire. But here's where most men get it wrong. They either avoid this entirely, keeping the vibe too safe and sterile, or they crash straight into explicit territory, killing the intrigue instantly. The sweet spot lies in between. The art of suggesting without stating, of letting her imagination do most of the work. This doesn't mean playing manipulative games. In fact, Stoicism teaches restraint. Seneca once said, "What is allowed is not always honorable. Just because you can say something doesn't mean you should. Your power lies in holding back, keeping the interaction charged without crossing into crudeness or disrespect." So how do you do it? You create moments that could tilt into something more, but don't. Maybe it's a glance that lingers one heartbeat longer than usual. Maybe it's a remark with two possible meanings, one innocent, one not, and you never explain which you meant. It's not about trapping her into a certain thought. It's about leaving a door slightly open, so she wonders if she wants to step through. Instead of direct sexual comments, use experiences with sensory weight. The taste of a certain wine, the sound of rain on a roof at night, the warmth of a fire after stepping in from the cold. On the surface, these are neutral, but depending on her mindset, they can carry a deeper meaning. You're giving her building blocks, and if she wants, she can assemble them into something far more intimate in her own mind. Pacing is key. Don't stack these moments one after another. Let them appear naturally in conversation so they feel authentic. This keeps the tension alive. She's never quite sure when the next spark will land. From a Stoic perspective, this is temperance. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." Here, it means you avoid the overstepping patterns of other men. You stand apart by controlling your words, your actions, and the pace of interaction. Suggestion works best on a foundation of trust. When she's already comfortable around you, those moments hit harder, like an unspoken agreement just between the two of you. The goal isn't to push boundaries for the sake of it. It's to create a shared space where tension and safety coexist. Sometimes the most powerful move is to leave things unsaid, because in that space, one well-placed suggestion can be remembered far longer than 100 direct statements. Drop a comment if you've ever felt the pull of a moment that was almost something more. Number 5. Spark her imagination with playful mystery. If there's one force that makes a woman keep replaying you in her mind long after you're gone, it's mystery. Not the kind that creates suspicion or doubt, but the kind that awakens curiosity. When that mystery is wrapped in a playful tone, it transforms into something magnetic. You stop being predictable and become an experience she wants to keep discovering. Let's see how this looks in real life. David, Sushaba, met Sophia, Sicilio, at a friend's birthday dinner. They chatted warmly, and as the evening came to a close, Sophia asked him what he was planning for the weekend. David smiled and simply said, "Something I've been waiting to enjoy for a while." Then he left it there. No explanation, no details. Sophia tilted her heel, grinned, and teased. "That sounds mysterious." David replied lightly, "Some things are better lived than explained." Here's the key. David wasn't trying to play games or stir jealousy. He was planting just enough intrigue for her imagination to run wild. Instead of revealing everything, he left space for her mind to wander. That gap is fertile ground where attraction grows. Playful mystery doesn't mean living like a secret agent. It's about knowing when to share and when to hold back. You can be open about your humor, your principles, and your vision for life, but you don't have to give her a daily itinerary. Instead, drop small breadcrumbs. Tell her a story about a past trip, but leave out just enough that she asks questions. Maybe it's about a concert that didn't go as planned, or a dinner where something surprising unfolded. Give her a taste, not the full recipe. From a Stoic perspective, this aligns with Epictetus's wisdom: be silent for the most part, or speak only what is necessary. The power lies in restraint, not coldness, but intention. When you do reveal something, it holds more weight. And don't forget the playfulness. Without it, mystery can feel heavy or closed off. With playfulness, curiosity turns into desire, not doubt. It's the difference between saying flatly, "I can't tell you," versus smiling and saying, "Now, if I told you," It wouldn't be nearly as fun when you found out. Back to David and Sophia later that week. Sophia kept thinking about him, not just because of what he said, but because of what he left unsaid. That's the essence of playful mystery. You let her imagination work for you. Balance is everything. Too much mystery makes you distant. Too little makes you ordinary. But just enough keeps her thinking about you long after you've left. Drop a comment below and claim it. I spark curiosity. Number 6, ask the questions she's never been asked before. If you want to make a lasting impression, you can't rely on the same tired conversations she's had 100 times before. Most men play it safe. They stick with polite, predictable lines. What do you do for work? Where are you from? How was your weekend? Sure, those questions are fine to break the ice, but they don't open her world. They don't stir emotion. They don't make her stop, think, and feel something in the moment. A question she's never been asked before does exactly that. It interrupts her autopilot. It draws her attention back into the present. And, most importantly, it attaches that rare experience of discovery to you. The secret isn't about being strange or invasive. It's about being thoughtful. Your questions should be open enough for her to choose the direction, yet specific enough to spark interest. Instead of asking, "What's your favorite book?" try, "What's a story that shaped the way you see the world?" instead of, "What kind of music do you like?" you might say. If you had to describe your life through one song, which would it be? See the difference? These aren't trivia questions. They're emotional doorways. They unlock memory, identity, and meaning. And when she explains her answer, she relives the feeling that memory carries right there with you. From a Stoic perspective, this is about depth over quantity. Epictetus reminded us that wealth lies not in possessions, but in needing little. The same applies to conversation. You don't need dozens of shallow exchanges. You need a few that actually touch something real. And here's why it matters. Most women are used to surface-level interest. They're used to men who nod, pretend to listen, and then redirect the spotlight back on themselves. But when you ask what no one else has asked, you prove you're paying attention. You show her she's more than a checklist of facts. Don't rapid-fire questions. Sprinkle them naturally. Let her answer. Then follow the trail. Her words open up. That's how you build a connection that lingers. So, here's your challenge. Next time, don't just ask. Discover. Drop a comment below and tell me the one question you've asked that unlocked a deeper side of someone. Number 7. Use suggestion to create emotional heat. One of the most magnetic ways to build attraction isn't in saying everything directly, it's in letting her sense there's more beneath the surface. Suggestion works because it plants curiosity, allowing her imagination to do the heavy lifting. Think about the difference between a film that shows every scene versus one that leaves certain moments unseen. The mystery hidden off-screen is often more powerful. That's where intrigue lives and where emotional heat begins. Take Daniel, Sushati, who met Claire, Sushasi, at a small dinner party. While chatting, she mentioned her love for French cinema. Daniel smiled and said, "There's a theater I go to sometimes, but it's not the kind of place you can describe. You have to feel it." Then he changed the subject. He didn't invite her, didn't share an address. He left a thread for her to pull if she chose. Later that night, Claire found herself wondering what theater, why couldn't it be explained, and why did he think she'd appreciate it? That's the power of suggestion. It's not manipulation or false promises. It's creating space for her mind to wander, space that often becomes more charged than anything said directly. From a Stoic perspective, this is restraint in action. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. Suggestion directs those thoughts without pressure. Use it sparingly. A glance, a tone, a small detail like the scent of perfume or the feel of night air can say more than a full story. Leave just enough unsaid for her to lean in closer. Drop a comment below and claim it. I spark heat. Number 8. Let her cross the line on her own. One of the most common mistakes men make when it comes to attraction is pushing too fast, too soon. They rush the process, trying to close the gap before she's ready. And in doing so, they rob the moment of the very tension that makes it exciting. When you push, you take away her sense of agency. When you hold back, when you create a space that feels safe, intriguing, and filled with curiosity, you allow her the freedom to step forward. And when she does, that step means more. She owns it. She invests in it. And because it's hers, she will remember it far longer. Think about how the best storytellers work. They don't hand the reader every single detail. Instead, they set the scene and let imagination fill the gaps. Attraction works the same way. Your role isn't to force an outcome. It's to build the emotional scene, just enough energy, just enough charge that she feels the pull and chooses to move closer. From a Stoic perspective, this is where discipline and patience come in. Seneca reminded us that adversity proves a man's strength. By resisting the urge to grab the easy move, you show mastery over yourself. You're not chasing her validation. You're creating the conditions where mutual desire can unfold naturally. In practice, this means you don't escalate until she signals readiness. Those signals might be subtle, lingering eye contact, leaning closer, mirroring your gestures, or asking more personal questions. When you notice them, acknowledge them, but let her make the next move. Picture this. You're in a conversation that turns more personal. There's a pause. She's comfortable, maybe even a little nervous. Instead of breaking the silence, you hold it. You maintain eye contact. You give her the chance to step forward. And when she does, the energy is completely different than if you had tried to force it. The beauty of this approach is that it respects her boundaries while keeping the spark alive. It's not passivity, it's deliberate action. You are actively shaping the environment, but not controlling the outcome. That's real power, and it's rare. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. You can't control when she decides to cross the line, but you can control how you show up, how steady you remain, and how safe she feels in your presence. That trust is what makes her step forward. And when she does, don't overreact. Don't treat it like a trophy. Meet her energy with calm presence. Because the true power isn't in that single moment. It's in the dynamic it sets into motion. Drop a comment. I let it happen. Number 9. Borrow the blueprint from women's romance stories. If you want to understand how to spark deep emotional pull, pay attention to the romance stories. Women love novels, TV, dramas, even movies. These aren't just entertainment, they're blueprints for emotional connection. And nearly every story follows the same arc: tension, challenge, and the slow unfolding of something that feels rare and meaningful. Notice this. The man in these stories never throws himself at the woman. He has his own life, his own center, and a calm confidence that pulls her in. That's what makes him magnetic. Take Mark, Wushar, and Sophia. They first met at an art class and would occasionally chat while painting side by side. Sophia adored romance novels that built attraction through subtle, shared experiences. Without realizing it, Mark mirrored this. He didn't rush. Instead, he added light humor when she got paint on her cheek, and he listened intently when she spoke about her work. Each moment felt like a new chapter, slowly layering intimacy. That's the key pacing. Build connection like a novel builds its plot. Anticipation is a reward. And when she finally feels it, it carries weight. Drop a comment and claim it. I write the story. Number 10. Plant desire and let it grow until she can't resist. Desire isn't something you can push in the moment. Force it, and it slips through your fingers. Real desire is like a seed. You place it quietly, give it the right environment, and then step back. The magic happens in the silence, in the pauses, in the spaces where she has time to remember you. Every interaction is a chance to leave behind more than small talk. It's about giving her something that lingers, a laugh that echoes after you're gone, a thoughtful detail you noticed that others missed, the calm, confident way you carried yourself in a moment that mattered. These are the fragments that replay in her mind, slowly building a picture she can't ignore. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, no great thing is created suddenly. The same is true for attraction. It grows layer by layer. Patience makes her curiosity expand into longing, and longing, when it blooms, feels like her own choice, which makes it powerful, almost unshakable. So, plant désir. Let it grow, and trust the process. That's how attraction turns into something real, something lasting. If you found value here, make sure to like this video and subscribe so you never miss the next lesson on becoming your strongest self.